Hi guys, my name is Denny Danielson and I'm going to be teaching you how to use the 2D modeling key AutoCAD. So we're going to go to the start button and we're going to type in AutoCAD. So we're going to click it and it's coming up right now. What we're going to do is we're going to start a drawing and then we're going to look at how to create an iPhone. So right here we're clicking Start Drawing. Some important things to note is right here is your toolbar, and then down here is another toolbar which comes in handy very often. So right here we're looking at display grid. So if we turn this off, we have no grid behind us. I like to work with the grid, so I'm going to keep it on for this video. Right next to that is the snap mode. That's another helpful tool. So when we're out here, we can right now draw lines anywhere we want. If we turn this on, it'll snap to a corner, which is really helpful when you're drawing things. And the next thing we're going to look at is drawing a line. So up here you have your line tool, you have your circular tool, you have rectangular tool. There's lots of different options up here. You'll just have to play around with it to get used to it and familiar. So right now we're going to draw a line. And like I said, it's snapping to the points where I want it to in the grids. We're going to draw a line of 7.3 inches. And then we're going to go across. This is another tool. So right now it's snapping to the grid lines. We want it to snap perpendicular. So we're going to have this line 3.07 inches. Again, we're going to draw another line upwards of 7.3 inches. And then we can type the close button and it will close our line for us. Either that, or you can actually just draw a line from point A to point B over here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the fillet tool. So right now we're going to make a radius between these two lines to round the corners of our phone. We're going to type in the command line down here, which is this line right here, radius, and click enter. So we want a radius of 0.5 inches between here and here. And we can click enter again and then do it again. And just keep clicking enter until you get all the rounds completed. So now that we have all the rounds completed, we're going to draw a line from the center of this down. It doesn't really matter where you put it. You can either have it snap to this line or you can just draw it further down. It doesn't really matter. It's just a useful tool for us. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the rectangular box, which we could have used for the outside, but it was easier just to do it this way. So I'm going to draw it out here instead of inside of the box at this moment, and then we're going to move it in. So we're going to type the dimension key and click enter, and we want a distance of 2.8, and then we want a width of 3 or 5.7. So we have this rectangle right here. We're going to click with our mouse to get out of the rectangular key, and now we're going to move this into there. So we're going to type the move key, and that's the box we want to click. So we're clicking the center of that, and we're going to click it parallel into that box. So now we're going to move this down. We're going to type the move key again, press enter, and we're going to select this box. And we're going to put this down 0.76 inches. And that moved that down there, which is approximately what you see when you're actually have an iPhone. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a little rectangular box. Again, out here, because this is the way I like to do it. We're going to draw it at 0.5 0.45 inches, and it's just going to be a little box like that, and we're going to move it in. Oops. Take the move key. We're going to move this in. And we're going to turn off snap, so we can move this into there. If you click on it, you can actually make this smaller, which is what we're going to do. And then we're also going to draw another little square up there, or a circle, just a real small one, of 0.028. That looks a little big. We're going to erase that. We're going to make it a little smaller this time. We're going to make it about 0.025. And then we're going to move this in. And then we're going to move it up. Using the snap cursor to 2D reference point. And we're going to turn off that snap button. They kind of don't like to work well with each other. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a circle down here for your home button at a radius of 0.25. And again, we're going to move that in to the circle, into our and we might move it up a little. And there you go. You've got a 2D version of a phone, and we're going to get rid of the center line in there by pressing the delete key, and you have your phone. I'm going to hand it over to my partner to do 3D modeling.
Yep. Now let's turn this 2D model into a 3D model. First of all, what we have to do is, rather than looking at XY plane, we have to look at the X, Y and Z model C axes together, so that we can see the depth of the phone. So for that, what we have to do is go for the square shape, which is at the top right corner. So there we can select in which view we are seeing the object. You can either select top or southeast isometric view, so that we can change the view of the object what we are seeing. Now we'll try to extrude these faces and make a 3D object. But you can see in the edges these lines are not connected. Now we'll make it a one line. For that, we can use the command join. When you type join and go to the command, it's asking for select the source object. we will select the individual lines that are to be connected. So once it's selected and press enter, we can get a continuous line. In latest iPhones, we don't have sharp edges. Sharp edges means we don't have a just not a square shape at the end. We have a kind of round shape. What we have to do is, here we will try to make it round by drawing a pipeline, kind of a pipeline shape over the edges. For that, what we have to do is draw a pipeline, but for that, first what we have to have is a center line of that pipeline. For that, what I'm going to do is copy that outer surface and move it for the half of the height of the iPhone, so that I can define the center line of the pipeline. You may understand why we are coming on. Here I'm going to copy the outer surface line and bring it to half of the height of the iPhone, so that I can define the center line. So usually it's 0.28 of height, so therefore I'm using 0.14 to define the center line. Yeah, now we have the center line of the our pipeline. Now we'll try to make a pipeline so that we can get a round shape at the edge. But for that, we can't draw all the things in XY plane, because our circle should be in the XZ plane. For that, I'm going to change the coordinate system. So I'm going to change the XYZ directions, so that I can make that XY plane for the current XZ axis. So this is the X axis I'm going to define, and I'm going to define the previous Z axis as the Y axis, so that I can draw in the new XY axis. So then I'll draw the circles which is in the radius of our desired pipeline. So once we have the circle in the center line, we can define the pipeline using the command sweep. So that is how it's done. Well, here we go. Now we have a pipeline, but you can't see the image clearly because now the view we are seeing is 2D wireframe. To get realistic image, we have to go to the option here at the top and change it to realistic view. So this is our pipeline, which is becoming the edge of our phone. Yeah, but we can see now all the things are black color, so we can't identify between the lines and the newly drawn pipeline. So for that, we can use the help of layers for that. So for that we can put this pipeline into a different layer and keep the other lines in a different way. For that, we can go for layer properties and define a new layer for the outline, and give a new color for that. So that we can differentiate between the outline and the other normal lines which we still have to build the other things. Here, when we change the layer of that pipeline to the outline, we can see that the other lines can be seen in the layer 0, so that we can carry on of the rest of the modeling. So we'll make the housing of the phone. For that, we should have the mid part of that, which is usually white or black color, Yeah, so we just using extrude command we can do that. Yeah, so here is an example how we should define the height. If we just define it as a positive, whatever the height we need, it will just give the height from the XY plane. But here, according to our drawing, it should be in the other way. As we define the top surface in the XY plane, our height should be in the negative Z direction. So therefore we'll just redo that and define a negative height for that. Select the outline, press extrude, then define the height as negative 0.28. Yeah, so here we can see the our iPhone housing, but we can't still differentiate the screen and the other stuff, so we'll change the color. Just double click on the surface, then change the color to color 255, so which is the default white color in AutoCAD. Yeah, now we can see the screen, home button and the speakers, etc. Yeah. Now we'll try to extrude our screen so that we can see it clearly. So we'll press the extrude button and give a very small height of 0.0005, so our screen will be embossed. Then we'll try to draw a home button. We just have a circle there, but in our home button we have a kind of a circular ring. So to define that, we'll just offset the existing circle with the offset distance of 0.01, so that we can have a kind of a ring. So we can extrude that whatever the area which is bounded by two circles. We can use the press pull command, which used to be pulls bounded areas, so that we can extrude that and have our home button. Yeah, so the offset function, it did not apply because we forgot to press enter, so we'll just redo that. Yep, here we go. Yep, enter, offset is there. We'll just try to press pull and make that. Yeah, here we go. We can press pull the home button. Yeah, we'll give that a height, so we'll give it a height of 0.008, so that we can see an embossed ring here, but the color is coming as the same color because we just press pull the surface of that thing. So here seems it won't work when changing color, because once we are trying to select that ring, it selects the whole surface area. Yeah, there we have to go for another option. So what we can do, so shall we try in another view and let's try to select whether we can select only that ring. Yeah, we'll try to select from the front view and see whether it's been selected. Nope, it's not selected, so we'll have to go for another option. What we can do is we can define another ring and put it back there, but it will be hard to do that if you try to exactly put in that position. So what we can do is we can temporarily move our surface into the top and then define that ring again and do that. So let's see how we can do it. we'll try to move our surface with a known height. Yeah, we select as it says 5 inches. We'll move it so that we can see our previous 2 lines, and this is the extruded face. So we have to go for another option, so we'll try how we can do it. So we'll try this to press pull the area in between these 2 lines so that we can have another separate colored ring of the home button. Yeah, this we'll define kind of a bit taller height for that ring, so that we can it will come out of that previous incorrect one. So we'll do that color, select color rose, or make it rose gold. Yep, so it's there. Now we'll bring our surface back, move, click on the base point, then move again back 5 inches. Yeah, here we go. So now we have our home button ring. So that's it. We have a better iPhone. We can define cameras and etc. But as this is a simple tutorial about how to do things, it's just an introduction. Yep. Then we should do one thing. Rather than drawing things, we'll see how we can get the dimensions, because in AutoCAD it's a compulsory thing. It's not just drawing. So here we go to the dimension tab. We can see lots of things: linear, align, radius, angular kind of dimensions. So let's see how we can get these dimensions. So if we select linear, so this is how we can select. We can select the whatever the points we need to get the measurements. We just select these points and drag it outside so that we can see the measurement. So that is the usage of linear dimensions. So we'll try again. So how we can define the width of the iPhone. So this thing can be done after a drawing, so that we can define whether our drawing is according to the dimensions, and also that other people can refer. So this is the how our line thing can be obtained. But dimension, line, select the corners, yep, you can have the diagonal dimensions. Then let's see whether we can define radius. So we can have to set the circle, it will give the radius. So I think we did the basic stuff which have to be done in 3D modeling. Okay, that's it. So thank you for watching our video. Okay.